Gas Network presents sports for the culture.
I'm here with the family.
Bryce, XXV, Double I.
Rome.
D-Malo.
Gruff Lion.
T-Buggy, man.
This is the greatest sports show on the planet. La Familia. Hope y'all ready for a ride.
Can't wait to hear what you guys got to say. Yes, we are back. It's your favorite sports panel. Gas presents Sports for the Culture, man. It is I at Bryce XXV Double I, aka Mr. Big League, and as always, I got the gang with me. Let me start off with my guy, Uncle Trumpito. Bottom left, introduce yourself.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Let's have a great show. You heard me, Uncle Champito 2023 in fantasy football. This shit, that's gonna be my name. It's gonna be the title. So if y'all see me in y'all league, just know that I'm busting scrub lion ass all year long. I don't care if I'm 2 and whatever. Just know that those 2 wins are through scrub lion.
Oh man, G talking greasy early. Ain't even fantasy football season quite yet. My man on it. Yeah, it's gonna. I don't know, G. I think I got a pretty good track record against you, but guess Scrub can't say the same. And we had a crazy conversation about this on the pre-show, so go check that out. Let's keep it pushing, man. I gotta let my guy get his rebuttal in. Top left, introduce yourself.
What up, man? It's Gruff Lion, man. Buyer beware, man. Be aware of the liars, man. Be aware of the frauds, man. Wise man told me, believe half of what you hear, none of what you see. Something like that. But yeah, man. Beware of the fraud propaganda, man. The fraud propaganda is crazy these days, bro. You know what that is? That's propaganda, that's fraud. Just so you didn't know. Fraud propaganda, ladies and gentlemen.
I like it, man. That might be one of those words that sticks around. We're gonna see, man. Keep using it, and maybe it'll get picked up, man.
Yeah, we need to trademark that, John. We get some cash involved in that.
Sound like the next gas T-shirt.
Yeah, it is.
Moving down to my guy, bottom right, last but not least. Introduce yourself, sir.
T-Buggy, man. Hey, same thing every week. Wash your hands, wash your ass. Y'all know what it is with me, man. Coach of the Gas Elite, All-Stars, AU program. We wrapping that thing up pretty soon. We about to have a little awards banquet and whatnot. But I know what it is, man. Let's get the show started.
Hey, make sure you let me know about that. I gotta pull up to that.
Yes, sir. I got you.
All right, man. Shout out to the Gas Elite, yo.
Wait, you got any single moms there?
You got some fans.
G trying to be like Drake and Sierra Canyon. But yeah, shout out to Gas Elite, man. Them boys is balling. If y'all don't see the videos on IG, man, follow the Gas page, man, because them boys are really hooping out there, man. It's great to see. And the growth from the time it started to now, man, you could definitely trace it. So shout out to T, man, doing this thing out there. So let's jump into it, fellas. First thing on the docket today is them dirty birds call him Julio. Julio's not a dirty bird no more, man. Actually, he's a Buccaneer. Julio Jones to the Bucs, man, with Tom Brady. Hey, yo. I don't know, bro. I feel like this is one of those moves where we're going to look at it in hindsight and be like, how did Julio ever get with Tom Brady? But, T, what you think, man? Julio Jones to the Bucs, is this a difference maker?
Yeah, it's always a difference maker, man. We saw Moss be a difference maker. We saw be a difference maker. And Julio will also be a difference maker. I mean, it's looking like the thing to do, man. When you're at the end of your rope, end of your career, run to Brady and get yourself a ring. And it's looking like that might happen. I mean, NFC's up for the taking. Brady still got something in the tank. You put Julio next to Mike Evans and Godwin, and I guess Gronk is done. He might come back. Who knows? But either way, those are 3 legit targets. So it's a good move. Good move.
Yeah. And I think you brought up a nice point right there with Gronk leaving. Julio could see a lot of those targets. Not that Julio's a tight end, but at this point of his career, he's more of a large possession receiver type. You know what I mean? I can see him kind of taking some of those targets that Gronk occupied And I think either way, though, we're looking at a match made in heaven with Julio and Tom. G, what you feeling about that, man? Are you going to draft Julio Jones in fantasy this year?
Nah, my whole thing is how good is Godwin is gonna be. I mean, Julio Jones is gonna be a great distraction, but I still think Julio Jones is gonna be like the third target between Mike Evans and Godwin. I don't think Julio Jones is gonna make that much of a difference. I mean, he's gonna be great. I think Julio Jones is more gonna be like a touchdown mania kind of guy. Like that's the only reason
Never been though.
but he is this time. I think Julio Jones is gonna get like at least 13 touchdowns.
Ooh,
What?
that's an over and under for Vegas right there. If you hit that, you make you some money.
Yeah,
I
that would
think
be
Julio
crazy.
Jones
Even
over
that.
13. Think about
Let
it.
me
He's
tell
gonna be
you.
a big body in the end zone. I think
All
that's a great
right.
big body.
13
You're
touchdowns.
thinking.
Don't
You're
want him in
thinking. Yeah, nah. He's still. Yeah, but
Nah.
you're thinking like generically. You're thinking, okay, the dude 6 whatever. He's tall. He can jump. Yeah, he's a great red zone target. But actually, look at the stats on Julio Jones. Julio Jones has never been a big red zone target. He's a guy that gets a lot of yards. He gets possession catches, yeah, but for some reason he's not effective in the end zone. So to think that he's going to come in here and get Gronk's targets in the end zone is expecting Julio Jones to reinvent himself a little bit down his career. He's never been a red zone guy. But he's a great third option in that offense. You got Mike Evans on one side, you got Julio Jones on the other, and you got Godwin, who's arguably probably one of the best slot receivers in the league. And I think he's going to be the focal point of the offense. But Julio's third weapon. You are going to draft him high. I think he'll be productive though. All he has to do is be productive and be available in the games that matter, which is the playoffs. And he could have some pretty legendary moments. End of the day, pure athleticism and skill. Tom Brady, I haven't played Madden in a while, but anybody stepping on the sticks with that squad, that's a what? Julio Jones with Tom Brady? That's like a Madden dream, honestly.
Word.
2012.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about Julio. The question is, can he regain his form? I think that I saw some flashes of it in Tennessee. It was never consistent, but at the same time, that quarterback play isn't the most consistent either. That offense, it's a big difference going from Tannehill to Tom Brady, and to G's point, I do understand they got Mike Evans, they got Godwin, who I think is probably most underrated receiver in the league. But don't forget how Antonio Brown came in there and made that instant impact. There were receptions there for Antonio Brown, right? And I think it can be the same for Julio Jones. And I think we're going to really see him turn the clock back with increased opportunity. And I think that's all he's ever probably needed since he left Falcons.
I mean, this is a good prove it season, for Julio. Chip on your shoulder. They saying you weren't the guy you was. This playing with the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? It's now or never. If you can't make it shake with Tom, it might be the end of the line.
No, that's a fact. I agree with that 100%. 100%. If he can't make it shake with Tom, it's probably we probably squeeze all the juice out of that Julio Jones lemon, man.
Yeah, agree with that. He's gonna be looking like Odell Beckham at the end of this season, in the sense that he'll probably be looking at a ring and some type of redemption feeling.
Well, that's great because look, if Odell Beckham didn't get hurt, he would have been my MVP for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he was on.
Yeah, he was on the way.
Pace. He was on pace because no one else really stood out except Donald, I'd say.
I mean,
hey, man.
I don't think it's to say the Bucks just walk into the Super Bowl. I mean, these young guys now, they grew up hearing of Tom Brady and maybe watched him a little bit, but I don't think guys are scared of Brady the way they once were.
I think they should be though, but respectfully, I think in the Bucks' perspective, they got Julio Jones. They used to have Antonio Brown, obviously AB. He ain't gonna be back on the Bucks or back in the NFL probably, but Julio Jones isn't a bad replacement.
I mean, not to segue, but bro, we got quarterbacks that don't even watch tape. You think I don't think they're going into Tampa scared.
Well, that's actually a perfect segue.
So Gronk is not coming back, right?
Gronk's done, man.
Said he's retiring.
All right. So who would you rather have? This is a big body. You're talking about Julio Jones and Kyle Rudolph.
Don't they have him too?
Yeah. So who
Well,
you're picking?
they're in good hands. I'll take. I mean, I'll take both. But you know, who? Why do you got to choose? He has all
Because
of
you're
them.
gonna have. But I'm saying, if fantasy reasons, right? Who you're picking to at least score your touchdown?
I don't know, man.
I think Rudolph.
Kyle
Mm,
Rudolph's a sneaky fantasy choice.
Yeah, I think Rudolph probably.
Always been good.
I think both of those guys
Who?
probably
Who y'all
finished
talking about?
to
Kyle Rudolph.
3 to 6 range.
Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah, the tight end.
If he's your tight end, you're gonna be that spot that T's usually in that 9 to 12. Kyle Rudolph starting tight end in fantasy football.
He was not bad. He's pretty good.
Cowboys tripping.
he was decent when he was with the Vikings. I had him. He's a good waiver wire
Yeah, I bet
pickup.
you did have him.
And I whooped your
Yeah,
ass.
Right.
Well, Nick,
Yeah,
I whooped Nick's ass too.
Bruh, stop
Those are part of my
lying.
win. Burn.
Kyle Rudolph's not terrible, but Kyle Rudolph ain't never really been special, man.
Yeah, he's average.
That's an underrated position though, as the tight end position. I feel like I value that position very highly when it comes to fantasy football. Always have.
The tight end position is one of those spots of fantasy where like the top is very good, and if you don't get one of those guys, like week to week, that could be the difference in the game.
That is so
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
So like, honestly, I'm starting to value consistency the most. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I can't wait till we get into some more fantasy football talk. But that's coming. That's coming. So let's keep it pushing though, fellas. Next topic, man. T alluded to it a little bit earlier. Kyler Murray, man. This is the quarterback T was alluding to that is not doing his homework. He's not watching film, apparently, because in his new contract, he got the bag. We know he got the bag. Big M's coming Kyler's way, but there is a stipulation in the contract that he must watch 4 hours of film per week, or contract is in jeopardy. So my question for you guys is: should we be worried about Kyler with these recent breakthroughs coming out about his contract? T, I'm starting with you, man, because you kind of brought it up already.
I don't think you should be worried, man. I feel like Baker's going through this too. Like young guys are acting like young guys, and people are going crazy and losing it. Like they're young, they're bragging, they're saying things that when they get older they'll look back and see where they made the mistake. That contract stipulation, obviously they paid him, right? So if they paid him, they would have moved on from him. The Browns moved on from Baker, so obviously they don't hate him. But I mean, I think the contract stipulation is just there to remind Kyler, right? Maybe some type of escape clause if things go left, but it's there to remind him, because how can you prove if a guy watched tape? You know what I'm saying? Was he logged into?
Well, they got Jamarcus Russell.
Well, what I'm saying is, right? Like, what do they do? What do they say? You log into the website, you press play. Like, we all work.
No, they got they got those them little service tablets they got. They can tell how much of the tape somebody watched. They've been doing that.
Bro,
Makes sense.
If you work at any company that had any type of online training, you know you just hit play and let that thing go. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, go ahead, bro.
And then you hope you can pass the quiz. That's what he's going to do. He's going to hit play on those things, and Sunday he's hoping he can pass the test. You know what I'm saying? Most of us feel like smart enough to pass the test. You know?
It's like them trainings and for work.
Yeah.
You just skipping through them, hoping for 80%. That's where we're at with it. I mean, it's different kind of players, bro. It's different kind of players in this game. You know, I think you alluded to Jamarcus Russell. I don't know if y'all seen the Jamarcus Russell interview, but that gave me some interesting perspective about a quarterback's perspective, and I respected his opinion. You know, hey, I'm not a guy that's watched tapes. You know, I pull up and I ball, and that's what I do. You know, I can respect that to some degree. But you know, when you're at the highest level, the elite level, which is the NFL, it is the highest level. People looking for competitive advantages. We discussed this, you know, in different ways. You know, Peyton Manning was a guy that watched a lot of film. You know, that was his thing. There's a lot of guys that watch a lot of film to get the edge. There's a lot of guys that just pull up. Kyler takes me as a guy that's like, he's a gamer. He's a guy that pulls up, and he plays, and he relies a lot on his natural ability, his athletic talent, and skill set, and then his just ability to react and do the right thing in the moment. It's a mixed bag, you know. I think he's a great, talented player. I think the organization is putting in stipulations to protect themselves and their investment. I think that's fair. I respect the organization the most in this whole story because I think that's the proper thing to do in this situation. Kyler has they put out stories about him, you know, when they were trying to negotiate. They say, hey, he had work ethic issues. They had X, Y, and Z about him, leadership, body language. Body language is not something that, you know, it's something that I could even see, you know. So all these things are true, you know, obviously, right? Now they paid him the bag. Now they say, okay, you know, we want you to walk the walk. You kind of earn this, you earn the bag, but yeah, you need to, and it's good to put those stipulations in place because then otherwise you end up in situations like Philly was with Ben Simmons. I'll use Ben Simmons as an example. This is a guy that got away with a lot of things, you know, throughout his tenure. And if you give the player too much power, it's good to you know, to at least put some pitfalls in there, you know, to help clear you of that potential liability. So I respect this move for the Cardinals. And yeah, I think you should be a little worried about Kyler. I think he has to step up. I think he's a talented player, but I think he has to step up, you know. But winning it, you know, ends all that talk. So
yeah, that's a good point. I feel like I don't know, like I'm worried about this from Kyler because like if okay, there's two things. First, if he was watching the film, right, this would never had to go in the contract, right? If he was watching film consistently enough to where the coaches trusted that he was watching, he was regurgitating what he was watching, this would never had to be in the contract. Two, if he actually truly understood NFL defenses, this again would not have to be in the contract. Because if you really understand NFL defenses and what they're trying to do, I really don't have to worry about you even studying that much to begin with. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's two red flags right there for me that makes me and I will say this, right? The play on the field has reflected that to me. Like, don't get me wrong, Kyler Murray, he's a dangerous football player, bro. Like, he's dangerous with the ball in his hands. He's dangerous with the ball on the run. He's dangerous because he can chuck the ball 60 yards on the rope. But, like, I didn't see Kyler consistently beating his own defenses. I didn't see Kyler, like, consistently, like, ripping teams apart. I saw him being a dangerous football player. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like in the mode of a Lamar Jackson. And I'm still waiting for Lamar to get his bag. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you couple this with the fact that, like, we're talking about Kyler can't he's not studying. Man, I'm worried. Now I'm worried because the play on the field was kind of already showing me that. G, what you think about this whole Kyler Murray situation?
See, my thing with you, Bryce, right? Last year you was a big Kyler Murray fan.
I was.
And you raved about him, and you were right, right? Now, if we never heard about this news, right? What would have been your prediction this year about him? It would have been still going up, or would have been a decline?
After last season, right? After last season, man.
Not knowing this news about him not setting the stage.
Coming into this year, I had a question mark on Kyler Murray, man. Like, coming into last year, I had him as what I would consider a tier 1 quarterback. Coming into this year, I have him in that tier 2. He didn't live up quite to what I thought he was going to last year. And I feel like it wasn't because of natural talent. It was because of things that's like, you know, the intangibles that I thought he was going to pick up, like, you know, the little things that the great quarterbacks do. I haven't seen him pick that up.
Yep. And I think it's between the ears is where he lacks, you know, personally. And not saying that he's low IQ, but actually, apparently, I believe in this draft process, he scored really low on some of those so quote unquote tests. You know, that measure these type of things. But,
did anybody see the quote as to why he doesn't study?
No.
You got it.
He said you know what I'm saying, he's a smart guy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not. This is not the exact quote, but the gist of it was, I'm smart enough to figure it out during the game.
Yeah, okay. That's what I said. He seems like a guy that just like pulls up and he relies on his natural abilities, his talent, but it only takes you so far.
But to Kyler's credit, right, he's gotten better each season statistically.
Not by much.
I mean, but he's growing. He's still a pretty young quarterback. D Hop got hurt.
The thing is, he could be growing a lot faster if he was putting in the work,
that
and
that
that's what it seems to be. Is
that's a
he's like missing.
hypothetical. That's a hypothetical.
It
But
is a hypothetical, but it's one of those things, and only you know, I guess. But obviously, more people know than just him and God. I mean, obviously, the organizations is quite aware that he could be doing more.
One Allen
They
Iverson
want him to do more.
had to tell people to calm down about practice himself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's another guy that didn't always look the part, didn't sound the part, and he changed norms in the league. And I kind of see that's where we're going. If you're going to consistently draft these young guys and start them day one, this is a new generation of young guys. This isn't the young guys that grew up and they played Nintendo and they went outside, rode their bike, played Dungeons and Dragons. These are young guys that grew up on the internet. You know what I'm saying? These are the young guys that grew up already famous. Now they're growing up with NIL deals coming down the pipe. You hit ninth grade, somebody's looking to pay me. So you're going to be dealing with a lot more immaturity, a lot more ego. You give these young guys that are already immature millions of dollars, this is what you get. So you either you draft a Kyler and you live with it, or you draft a Mac Jones and he's mature, but can he throw you to a win? Can he run you to a win? I don't know.
I don't know how mature Mac Jones is, but
he seems to
Yeah,
be.
but I get, but yeah, let's not get stuck on that because I get the
I think
point.
that's bullshit.
Yeah, I get the point though.
They-
See, you
it's
know what I'm saying?
some
Like,
bullshit.
we're in a new era where it's like some of these things teams got to meet guys halfway, and it all goes back to the player having more leverage at this point than ever before. But when we start comparing, well, I shouldn't say when we start comparing. What I'll say is once a guy gets the bread, once a guy gets the bag, now you're really open to yourself a criticism. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure Kyler Murray understands that he'll be under the microscope like never before this upcoming season. And, moving on from one guy who got his bag to another guy who's waiting on his bag, I got a question for you guys. A good old fashioned this or that. Kyler Murray
bro.
versus Lamar Jackson. Like I said, Kyler Murray just got his bag. Lamar's still waiting on his. So my question for you guys: who would you rather have as your starting quarterback right now and moving forward? Kyler
Can I
Murray,
go
Lamar
first?
Jackson. Yeah, G, I'm starting with you, man.
Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has done more without weapons besides Andrew. I believe Lamar Jackson is a way better quarterback, a lot taller, a lot mobile, and besides Kyler Murray deep ball, which I think Lamar Jackson lacks, I'd rather have Lamar Jackson just because I know you see those videos of him during the game, how he motivates the offense and the defense. Like my man's a full around captain for that team. I'd rather go to war with Lamar Jackson. And the fact that he plays in a tougher division, no offense to you 49er fan, but my man has to go up up to Pittsburgh, and then he's in the Browns defense, which is nothing to joke about. And he gets the Bengals. Like I'd rather take Lamar Jackson because that MVP season for me is still fucking one of the best MVP seasons I've seen in my lifetime.
Word, yeah, man. Hard to argue with that. T, who you taking?
I'm taking Kyler, man. You know why? The Cardinals are taking Kyler, and the Ravens aren't taking Lamar as of yet. And Lamar has the MVP. Why is he signed? Why is he not signed? You know what I mean? Like, also,
I'll answer that question.
Also, hold on. Also, Kyler, regardless of what you want to say about him, has to go against Jalen Ramsey, Fred Warner. Like he's playing in the NFC West, a much harder division. It's Kyle Shanahan. It's Sean McVay. It's Pete Carroll. It was Russell Wilson. Like he was battling it out half the games every season. You know what I'm saying? A little less than half. Lamar was going against the Browns. They still haven't figured it out. The Bengals, who just now are starting to hit their stride, and Big Ben, clearly at the end of his career. So Lamar did his thing, and I won't discount any of that. I won't discredit any of that. But to act like Kyler is notches, all these notches below is crazy. I think Kyler still is the more complete package. They're both fast cars, right? Lamar Jackson might be a Hellcat, and Kyler might be an S550. You know what I'm saying? He's still fast. He might not be as fast, but he got more options. You know what I'm saying? He's a little more attractive. He's a little more, for the average person. So I'm a Kyler guy. I'm going Kyler.
All right. There was some valid reasons in there. It's hard to once again, it's hard to argue with against the points you made too. So we got one for Kyler and one for Lamar. Scruff, who you taking?
Man, I mean, first of all, I'm taking Lamar Jackson. Let's get that right off the bat. Lamar Jackson is a former MVP. How are we comparing a guy who's a former MVP who's still playing at the MVP level? He carried the Ravens last season. They were obliterated by injuries. Any other team that would have had injuries like that, bruh, lucky to be winning like half your games, bro. They actually were playoff caliber. I think Lamar Jackson has strides still to continue to grow as a player. You want to ask me who am I taking? I'm taking the guy that's showing up to work every day, putting in the work, trying to improve and get better every single day. I'm showing up to the guy. I'm going with the guy that shows up with a good attitude every day, that leads by example, that carries his team up, doesn't bring them down, that shows the body language of a leader and a general on the field at all times. I'm going with Lamar Jackson for those reasons. Now, why is Lamar Jackson signed and Kyler Murray's not signed? Because Kyler Murray probably has a better understanding of leverage. Also, Kyler Murray has an actual agent. Lamar Jackson's representing himself. Now, you want to ask me this or that? Yeah, I'll take Kyler Murray having an agent over Lamar Jackson trying to represent himself in a deal. I don't think that's wise. But maybe he'll prove me wrong. But ultimately, as a football player, I'm taking Lamar Jackson every single time.
Some good points made there. Man. And it's crazy because, like, G kind of asked me about it earlier. Like he said, I was really big on Kyler Murray. I don't think anyone was banging the table as hard as I was for Kyler Murray. And that was before.
And thank you for that advice.
Yeah, that was before last season. And if you would have asked me this question last season, I would have took Kyler Murray, no question, to build my team around. But after last year, man, it's so close because, like, Lamar Jackson has something that you can't measure, and I think that's important when it comes to quarterbacking. I think all the great quarterbacks have that extra something that you really can't measure, and Lamar Jackson's got that, and I haven't seen that from Kyler Murray yet. You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen that it from Kyler Murray yet. I know Lamar Jackson got that it though. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know he can rally the troops when it has to be done. I know that he's going to risk it all to get the W. Like, I know these things about Lamar Jackson. And maybe Kyler Murray has more potential as a passer. But I just don't trust him. I don't trust him enough. I don't trust him enough to take me there yet as much as I trust Lamar Jackson. So as of now, I'd have to build my team around Lamar Jackson. And I think both quarterbacks will show us something this year, though. I think this is the year for both of them to really take that next level. I think Greg Roman's going to open up the playbook a little bit more for Lamar Jackson. And I think for Kyler Murray, having this money is just going to allow him to play a little more free, that much more free. And once you're playing free with no cares, I think that could be a real positive for a gunslinger. What up, G? You looking a little confused.
No, I just remembered something about T. If I'm not mistaken, anybody that has initial LJ, he's very allergic to those initials. I remember last year, my man crucified Lamar Jackson, or anybody with LJ as initials, LeBron James, Lamar Jackson. It just hit me. T, is this your hatred against anybody with LJ as initials? Great players with LJ?
That might be numerology or something.
Of the grand. You know what I'm saying? Larry Johnson. I like Larry Johnson.
I don't know, sir. Everybody with the initials LJ, T just crucifies him. He has an AK-47. Like, what? I don't know. It just hits me.
Yeah.
Not crucifying Lamar Jackson. I'm just looking at the eyeball test, and like Bryce says, man, he's a winner, right? He has some intangibles. He knows how to lead a team. He can ride and true guys. His team loves him. His fan base loves him. That stuff matters. In the group chat, I was saying something about a quarterback being measured in how many more wins do they bring to the team. I think after watching last season, Lamar Jackson is clearly at least 3 wins. Clearly, if he plays quarterback, that Ravens team is at least 3 wins better, if not 4. I don't know if the same is the true for Kyler. I just think Kyler has more upside than Lamar. I don't know if Lamar can just run around and keep doing what he's doing before he's figured out. Also, I'm a little bit biased. I watched Kaepernick and Greg Roman's offense run around and sort of kind of get figured out. So I bought into that Kool-Aid once. I drank it once. I'm not drinking it again.
Bruh.
My man said I drank James Jones Kool-Aid and I don't want to drink it again. I almost died.
Bruh. With all due respect to Colin Kaepernick, he is not comparable to Lamar Jackson.
Colin Kaepernick went to a Super Bowl.
So?
He led his team to a Super Bowl. He's rushed for more yards in the playoffs than career and single game than Lamar Jackson. Kaepernick did some very impressive things. He went to Foxborough, beat Brayton Snow. He destroyed Aaron Rodgers every time he matched up with him. So there were a lot to jump on the Kaepernick bandwagon. I just can't do it with Lamar Jackson. Like, I bought into it once, but I realized this is a game where right now, the way it's played, you have to throw the ball to win. You have to. That's just how I see it. I could be wrong. Maybe Derrick Henry runs the Titans.
That's a great point too, T. Because like, how far has the game gone to that? Like, do you have to now? Okay, I agree with it to an extent, right? You have to throw the ball. You have to throw the ball to have a good football team, but like the term to win, like, do you have to throw? Can you be a front runner so much that you don't have to worry about that, or is that
yes
impossible for any
Bro,
team?
you can run your way to the Super Bowl. I just watched the 49ers do it, and when it came down to it, when it was time to pass the ball and make plays, the team that could throw the ball better won.
I think you have a point to some degree. I think in order to win the Super Bowl, you have to be able to make timely passes. That's the key. They have to be timely,
Bro.
because when shit slows down a little bit, and you got to get the play done, you got to be able to get it done. And Lamar Jackson, I mean, he did win an MVP. He wasn't just running around winning an MVP. He threw plenty of touchdown passes. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, I don't think he's throwing for 4,000 yards. I mean, if you're gonna run your way to a Super Bowl, right, and win, you have to have a very elite defense behind that. And I'm not sure that's what the Ravens have behind that.
Maybe not. But
you know what I feel like Lamar Jackson would thrive right now in Pittsburgh. I'm not in Pittsburgh. I'm in Foxborough. Because
where?
With the Patriots. Because look, remember that one game against the Bills? That one game was just straight running. Mac Jones, he didn't even completed one pass. And he won in Buffalo. Remember that one game?
And that's what I'm saying.
That's what I was agreeing to the statement of you technically could go pretty far with just a running game. And imagine if
running game, an overall team, man, team football.
Defense is the key.
Team football not dead just yet.
Bro, passing the ball means so much in this league. They just paid a man that says he does not watch tape. They expect high school quarterbacks to watch tape.
That's what athletic ability and pure talent could get you. It's still worth what, 250 even more.
Crazy amounts of money, bro. To go to your job and say, yeah, I'm not doing what everybody else do around here.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's really crazy. It's really a crazy precedent. They used to have this saying back in the day. He used to motivate me. They say, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. They need to change that quote to, shit, when talent doesn't work hard, you still get 250 million. So you asked out.
You had me in the first half, my brother. You had me in the first half. I'm sorry, you had me.
It sounded good in my head.
You had me in the first half. Oh, let me what? You had me there.
Cousins looks like a great quarterback every year. Like I'm not sure. Like
Yeah, but that's another thing about Cousins. Cousins doesn't throw timely passes. He throws timely interceptions, and he makes timely mistakes.
I mean, but look, remember when I was saying I'm ranking my quarterbacks, right? I think Cousins only gets 2 wins better. And I think so does Matt Stafford. I think those guys are in the same boat. I think you put Kirk Cousins on that Rams team, you get the same results.
No.
I think so. I think you're right about that.
I don't think so, bro, because Kirk Cousins has proved not to be clutched in like a lot of moments, and Matt Stafford actually was pretty clutch.
I don't agree with that. Kirk Cousins is not clutch, and Matt Stafford is, because until this year, when was Matt Stafford clutch, bro?
Matt, he never had the opportunity to be clutch.
Matt Stafford played the exact.
Come on, bro. He played for 15 years.
He played for the Detroit Lions.
He could have made his opportunity if he was what you saying he is. If
he was playing with a whole bunch of terrible,
Matt Stafford did not elevate his game. He didn't go out there and do things that were un-Matt Stafford-like. No, in fact, we saw Matt Stafford in the playoffs make some bonehead plays.
Like some picks that should have been thrown. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you're right. Like 49ers dropped a interception. Like Matt Stafford was almost not even there. I mean, I just think Kirk Cousins, Matt Stafford, those pocket guys, their team is going to make or break them. Same with Jared Goff, right? Jared Goff just left the Rams and went to the Lions, and he's still Jared Goff. He played the exact same brand of football, but the team's so much worse that they lost a bunch of games. Stafford went to a better team. They won a bunch of games. And that's kind of the gist of it. I don't think if Lamar Jackson leaves, he'll make every team, but he's 3 wins better on that Ravens team.
So, like, basically you saying that the Lions were some shit with Stafford, and they were basically some shit also. How much more some shit? I don't know. Maybe like marginally more shit.
What up, Angie?
What up, Angie?
Me, I'm up.
You were watching tonight, Angie.
Yeah, because Jared Goff isn't a guy that elevates your team, right? Stafford is a guy that has the ability to elevate your team. If you get a guy like Deshaun Watson on that Lions team, they win more games. Like we saw him elevate the Texans, not so much, but much more than other quarterbacks would have.
But that's the difference, though, in the NFL, though. The margin for error, for success and failure is mighty slim in the NFL. You could say that about the NFL more than any other sport. Think about that whole Saints thing where they were griping about the penalty and all this. And then the Brady Tuck rule, all these moments, these seasons were defined by these small little moments.
Bro, there's a reason we saw Peyton Manning go to, handpick his team and go to a team that kind of just needed a quarterback. There's a reason we saw Tom Brady go to a team. The Bucs didn't play much better, but Tom Brady played better than Jameis. You go from 30.
Well, the Bucs did play much better. It wasn't no 30 touchdown and 30 interceptions.
The quarterback played different. That's the only difference. The team still was the team. You just cut down the interceptions. In fact, Jameis' offense might have been a little bit more dynamic than Brady's.
I don't think so, because Godwin wasn't the same Godwin that he played when he played with Jameis. If anything, Godwin's play got a lot better.
Bro, Jameis threw for 5,000 yards with them boys.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I didn't feel like Godwin was someone you was scared to be playing around with. I mean, I didn't draft Godwin.
That's because you ain't know about it. It's because you ain't know about it don't mean it wasn't true. He was the best receiver. He was one of the best receivers before that. At least a couple years before that.
I don't know,
my boy.
All I know is that Jameis threw for over 5,000 yards. In fact, Jameis got the 9th best passing season in the history of the NFL.
That year with the 30 interceptions, 30 touchdowns. Yeah. That shit's so funny to me.
Bro, that's the thing, man. That's the problem with society these days, man. You know what I'm saying? You throw 30 touchdowns, 5,000 yards, and you lighten up. But you make a couple mistakes and shit. Now you can't live and shit. Now you a joke.
Yeah, because those 30 interceptions just offset your touchdowns.
Not if you got a great defense.
But then that's the point. They didn't have a great defense.
No, yes, they had a good defense. But
so why's that not the defense's fault? Like that's all on Jameis.
Yes, that's on Jameis. If you keep giving me short fields and I keep being on the field, obviously my defense isn't going to be as good.
Hey, bro, but at the end of the day, if I put up 30 tugs and I throw 30 interceptions, like at least get 15 stops.
He said go half and half. Fuck it,
Give me,
meet me halfway.
I mean,
you know, get a couple stops for
six
me.
sixes.
Defense, hey, shit. I'm throwing tugs.
Like, so let me wrap this up. I do think Lamar Jackson is a better quarterback for the Ravens than Kyler Murray is for the Cardinals. But if I had to start fresh, I'm taking Kyler Murray.
Man, if it was Madden or something, Kyler Murray would be a great choice. If you could control what goes on in here, but you can't. And that's what I'm saying. Obviously, why you got to put clauses in his contract.
We don't see Kyler on the field making a bunch of bonehead plays.
He ain't putting in the work, man. Yo, one thing about this universe, bro, like the shit always got to add up. If you ain't putting in the work, it's going to reflect.
Bro, more than likely, poor work habits is contagious, and you probably have vets in the locker room complaining. But the guy.
I'll say this, though. If Lamar Jackson had the weapons that Kyler Murray had, forget about it.
Forget about it.
But we'll see next season. Next season is going to tell us everything we need to know about both of these quarterbacks, right? Because once you get the bag, we get to see who you truly are in life in general. Once a man get the bag, it's a magnifying glass on me. So.
That's a fact.
I think he meant to write Commanders, not Vikings.
We're gonna see what Kyler Murray really is if that theory holds true. So I'm excited to see it. Like I said, man, I think he's gonna bounce back. I think he's gonna play free. But I also think Lamar Jackson gonna ball out too. I rock with both of them young boys. So let's keep it pushing, fellas. Let's go over to the association for a second, man. NBA. A couple major players, major key players on the trade block right now. With the biggest one being Kevin Durant. Seems like KD been on the trade block for a little minute now. I don't know if they're gonna really move him or if it's just they just trying to gauge what they could get on the open market. But the most recent rumor is that the Boston Celtics have reached out to the Nets in an effort to get Kevin Durant, and they're offering Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown tweeted out, SMH. Shaking my head, just SMH. That's all the tweet said. But when that rumor comes out, and then Jaylen Brown tweets SMH, you got to imagine that there's some truth to it. So my question for the panel is that enough for KD? Who wins this trade? Apparently, it was KD, Derek White, and one first-round draft pick. How you guys feeling about that? Is that enough for KD? Too little? Too much? What you guys thinking? Let's start with T. We ain't started with you yet, I don't think.
I mean, it's a win for anytime you can get KD, it's gonna be a win for whoever gets KD. That's just how that's gonna go. But I don't think the Boston should trade him. I think Boston's better without him. I mean, it's a team that just came from the championship. If you're just giving up Jaylen Brown, that's one thing, but odds are you're giving up a bunch of first-round picks. You're probably giving up Brogdon and Gallinari, or one of your young guys, Grant Williams, something that you were going to build around. And you pretty much you're doing what Philly did with Ben Simmons. You know what I'm saying? You got rid of one of your co-stars to bring in a superstar, and that didn't get you anywhere. So you're already where you want to be. You don't need KD to get at least back to the Eastern Conference Finals. So I think it's a bad move for the Celtics, but I do understand the business of it and trying to at least reach out and see if they can kind of finesse the Nets for KD. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, but you almost got to do your due diligence if you're the Celtics. Yeah, I agree with that. And then, although Jaylen Brown is an important piece, it's a business at the end of the day. So he can't be really mad at him, but I do understand him being salty. G, how you feel about this Jaylen Brown for KD talk?
I think this is an even trade. I think if you're the Nets, you pull the trigger because a draft pick is never guaranteed a superstar. And with Jaylen Brown, you have a young superstar, and you don't have to worry about developing or matching up with anybody. And at this point, you can get James White. White, you said?
Derek White, yeah.
Derek White, and And a what unprotected first round pick or what?
Yep.
Probably a couple picks. I'm sorry.
There's a couple. It's a couple.
No, they
picks.
was talking about one pick. They were talking about one pick was a rumor that I saw.
Nah,
So
it's,
Celtics being stingy with it.
But
nah.
you have to be. If you're the Celtics,
That's why
think
the
about
Nets
it,
turned
right?
it down. That's why the Nets turned it down.
Because
Yeah.
Kevin Durant, he's really worth more than that. The man's already 34.
Yeah.
He's 34. By the end of the contract, he's gonna be 38. And
Bro.
not everybody is a LeBron James at 36 doing what he's doing. So at this point, I think there's an even trade. That Rudy Gobert trade just offsetted everything. The fact that whatever the fuck they gave up, whatever the fuck Utah got from Rudy Gobert is still ridiculous to me because I don't see Rudy Gobert going as being fucking 4 first round picks. That is nuts to me. But the Timberwolves do nutty buddy shit anyways. They drafted Karl Anthony Towns, and look how much that panned out. That shit is a dub. And my point of listen, man. From my point of view, I think if you're the Boston Nets, Boston Nets. If you're Boston or the Nets, you pull the trigger on both because you get to give you get Jaylen Brown, and then you get Jason Tatum, KD. At this point, you need someone that doesn't mind playing second fiddle. Because clearly, we all agree here that KD doesn't mind being the second man on a good team.
He gonna be second fiddle to Jason Tatum,
Bruh. So what he was when he was with Golden State.
He was a dog. He was a star.
Nah,
But
he
was
was.
But
like,
was he
wasn't
but was that his team?
Second fiddle has like
That
a
was-
very.
But was that his
connotation.
team? Was that his team
It
though?
wasn't his team. He
That
was
was-
allowed
But that's
to-
what I'm trying
was
to. That's what I'm
allowed
trying to
to-
refer
He
to.
was
I
allowed
think
to be
his
a
team.
hired gun. Like he
it
would
was
just
his
pull up.
team, bro. It
Bro,
was his
that-
But look,
Oh.
the pressure of being your
KD
team
Golden
is
State,
not
that was his
KD.
team while he was
No,
there,
it wasn't.
bro.
No, it wasn't.
No, it was.
So we all said
it was
Steph Curry's
Steph,
team.
Draymond, and Clay's team, bro.
No,
That's what we
when KD
all
was there.
we
That
all
was
said.
KD's team, bro.
No, it wasn't. No, the fuck it wasn't.
To let KD go. Like the last shot was going to KD.
Because that was your gunman. And that's what I'm saying. You want Jason Tatum and KD together. At this point, who the fuck is stopping that?
Sometimes.
It takes some pressure off of both players. So if Boston needs this trade, it takes some pressure off of Jason Tatum, and it takes the pressure off of KD being, oh, that's my team. I gotta run it. Because clearly KD ain't that kind of player.
I mean, but this is under the
He's a
Jaylen Brown doesn't take another step forward.
Yeah,
That's true. Honestly, all right.
A young guy.
Let me jump in on this, man. Because honestly, all right, I'm gonna jump in first from the Brooklyn Nets perspective. You a fucked up situation, man. And people out here trying to offer you peanuts for KD, bro. Like that's unacceptable, bro. When Rudy Gobert goes for 4 first round picks and a million players and all this stuff, you're gonna get a haul for KD. So you mean to tell me that I'm trade Kevin Durant, one of the top 3 basketball players in the universe, and you try to offer me DeAndre Ayton? Nah. So that ain't it. So Jaylen Brown come across my table, and I'm listening. I'm listening to this conversation because this is the best offer I've got in terms of the most tangible piece for it's a fixture of a deal. Because like I said, you want to deal in certainties. Now with the history, the Nets have a very bad history dealing with Boston. Let's not forget that they got ripped off. They gave them old Paul Pierce and KG and robbed them for their future, and that's the same future that they used to draft Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. So it would kind of be fitting for Jaylen Brown to end up on the Nets because he was probably supposed to get drafted by them anyway because they used their assets that he robbed them for. All right, so now it's time to get even. So I do think there is some legs here because Jaylen Brown's a great player. Not only that, I think Jaylen Brown could be a better player on another team where he's not under another spotlight of another dominant wing. Also think that KD will be a good fit in Boston because he's got to show up and he got a ball. They already have a culture, a very established culture that he can't fuck up. And that's the most important thing for him because he's not a culture creator, but he is a baller. But I like this move. I just think if you're Boston, I got respect being stingy, but Brooklyn they have to come off some more draft picks because if Rudy Gobert getting 4, I'm gonna need at least 4 or 5 for KD. In addition, if it's Jaylen Brown, I get it. It's a higher caliber player, but give me at least 3 then. You know what I'm saying? Give me 3. If I'm the Brooklyn Nets, I'm taking this deal. I say, give me Jaylen Brown. Give me who they offer. They offer Derek White. That's a little disrespectful, but I can see him being an extra piece. I'll take him, and I'm gonna need one more guy. You know what I'm saying? But I think that would be a great move if Boston can keep like a good chunk of their role players. And I'll ship off Robert Williams. We talking about him in the group chat. I'll throw you know what? I'm Boston. I'll throw in Robert Williams. How about that? Because I can think out there I could easily replace Robert Williams, respectfully.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
Boston can't easily replace any of those guys, man.
Hey, where's Bol when you need him, bro? I still think he'll start.
Bol.
You tripping, my boy. Catch the sleep on Bol, bro. All right. They still got Al Horford, too. Whatever.
Bol don't play for the Celtics.
Nah, he don't, but he should. You know, I'm just saying. There's options out there, bro.
He said third player party trade.
Bro, Udonis Haslem is still signed in the NBA as a center, so I'm telling you.
Oh my god.
Centers just getting work, bro.
Nah.
There's a lot of them, bro. Andre Drummond is a backup center, bro. Like I could get a center.
I mean, Nets should probably move KD. I don't know what we're gonna get out of Ben Simmons, but the Celtics have absolutely no reason. Bringing in Brogdon to go with Marcus Smart. You have Gallinari.
Great move.
Gallinari's not KD, but you know what I'm saying? He can come in for 16, 17 minutes a game and give you Kmart KD. So, you know, there's a reason Kmart went out of business, but he can give you Kmart KD for those minutes.
Kmart KD, what?
Bro, they have a championship roster. They're built to win. And I understand doing your due diligence, but this team's built to go, man. I'd be surprised if we don't see the Celtics in the finals.
Bold prediction coming from Boogie. Early finals prediction.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know, bro. I don't know if I see him in the finals. I'll tell you what, bro. Remember it's the same Boston team that they were in shambles in the beginning of the year, and the right click of the energy within the locker room ignited them forward. Now you start planting bad seeds. You got, Jaylen Brown a little upset. Jaylen Brown don't seem like the type brother that you know what I'm saying, he's easily gonna forgive this Boston organization.
Good point.
He seems like a guy that's kind of woke to the fact that these organizations don't give a fuck about niggas. But that's a whole nother conversation. He's well aware of the fact that Boston ain't shit. I think he's well aware now. And just remember, this is an organization that, remember, Anthony Davis was the hottest commodity. Boston was trying to get a trade for Anthony Davis at that time. Anthony Davis in his camp said, nah, we ain't signing in Boston, dog. Let's remember, Boston does not have a great reputation taking care of his players. And they clearly pulled they clearly taken out they clearly favor Jason Tatum over Jaylen Brown, and it's so obvious, bro.
Oh yeah.
And they doing them like that. It's like, it's like a classic dichotomy we've seen for years. Okay, you gonna pick Jason Tatum, okay. Jaylen Brown, take him out to Brooklyn. Blackout. Fuck all that bullshit, man. Some real bourgeoisie shit I see going on, man. I see some real colonialism.
It's gonna be interesting to see how that one plays out, man.
So I got a question. You think Donovan Mitchell's gonna end up with the Knicks?
Who?
Donovan Mitchell.
I heard
that's the next domino piece that gotta fall, man. The Jazz, like, we just gonna gut this whole operation, man. And I can't blame them. You gotta know when to call it. But now they fielding the offers for Donovan Mitchell, and
I feel it.
A ton of teams rumored to have interest in Donovan Mitchell.
See, and at least the Knicks know what time it is. They're willing to put up like 5-6 first rounders on the table, bro. Like, if we talking stars, you better give me 5 first rounders plus, bro.
Yeah, but it is different though. It's different when a guy like Donovan Mitchell, who's 24, 25 years old, is on the market versus KD, how many years are we counting on KD still being elite?
We're counting on 4 years under contract, brother.
Yeah, but how many of those years are going to be elite? If I'm
3,
trading
4.
6, if I'm supposed to be trading 5 or 6 first round draft picks, like I'm gonna need a guaranteed finals appearance for that. Like, personally,
If you're at Boston Celtics and you trading for KD, well, you're going to be in the ball. You're going to be in the finals for the next 4
The
years.
Celtics will never give up that many first round draft picks to get a player that old. They wouldn't do it.
Because they're a good organization. They're wise.
But any organization that does, man, like, bro, you get KD, you got to make the finals that next year, because I'm paying too much not to. Because there's a chance. Let's be honest, bro. KD, I'm not gonna call him oft injured, but KD has had a lot of nagging injuries over the past few seasons, man. So like, you're getting a guy that, okay, 4 years under contract. All right, let's say one of those years he's hurt for, 2 of those years are elite, and then you're stuck with the last 2 years of the contract.
He's still
You never know how that's gonna play out, bro. There's a lot of unknown for a guy that's 34 for that many assets, bro. So
yeah, but if you're the Boston Celtics, you're in win now mode, right? You were literally just in the championship last season. Your best player, Jason Tatum, is young still, but he's emerging into his prime. You could say he's stepping into his prime. Why not bring in Why have a sidekick that's growing still? We were in win now mode. You know what I'm saying? I respect it.
I think you're hoping for a D Wade Shaq situation where KD comes in, and even if he's a shell, Tatum has enough to get the team to where they need to go. But I don't know. I wouldn't do it if I'm the Celtics. Like, I'm just against a team that they can get over the hump without KD. I want to see them earn that championship. I don't want to see them trade for it or buy it.
I don't think so. I don't think they can get over the hump. I think if the Bucks come in stay healthy to the playoffs, I think the Bucks are going to the finals next year. I think,
you know what I'm saying, you got to get past the Greek freak.
I think if Greek had his second option in Middleton, I don't think the Celtics are good enough to beat the Bucks. I personally think the Bucks are winning the East.
I agree with that. But if KD goes on the Boston Celtics, ain't no way in hell that the Boston Celtics ain't the fucking favorites, bro.
KD is not enough to get past a healthy Milwaukee. Giannis,
but I think KD is
with Jason Tatum,
an even battle. It's an even battle,
and them guys, and
I think it's an even battle, though.
It'll be an even battle.
No,
I think it's an even battle.
No,
I think they're even. I don't think one is better than the other, but I think we're gonna have a matchup. But I personally don't. We all said here not too long ago that if Middleton was playing, that the Bucks were gonna beat the Celtics.
Yeah, but we just watched KD get his soul taken on the court. Like, we watched the life come out of him out there. And
because we finally got to play with his team for the first time.
All I'm saying is that dog mentality that you might need to get past a Giannis, you don't know if KD's gonna give you that.
I think KD will give you that. I'm not. I personally don't think KD is a soft player. I only said second fiddle because it's not his team, and that's what I'm saying. You want to go, and then what Scrunch said earlier, he's a markman. He's basically a 007. Yo, I just need you to kill and bounce.
Right.
What teams right now are worried is about, they don't want to get stuck with the LeBron syndrome where you just hire a player and he just wins you one championship. You don't want that right now. You want multiple. So that's why I think that's the reason why Boston is trying to do something with Jaylen Brown, but it's like, I think they got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. It's like it's like what Bryce said, how many championships this is gonna give us?
Sometimes you just need a hired shooter. Sometimes you just need an extra shooter. Yeah.
Exactly.
So what? I know how to catch a body, but it's all good. I need a hired shooter with me. We're gonna bring backup. You know what I'm saying? That's what these guys doing. That's what it is. Yeah. And that's what KD is great at. He's the greatest at that. He's gonna go down as the GOAT of that. You need an extra guy to want to run and you want to take the team to the next level. Get KD.
He's disrespectful, man.
He's like sprinkles on top of ice cream.
Nah, bro. It's like trading Jaylen would be like leaving your girlfriend that has the good career, had the good grades, got the good upbringing, yada yada yada, for the IG chick. You know what I'm saying?
Kanye did it. Kanye did it with Amber Rose, right?
Yeah, that's fact.
Remember, Kanye West did it. He ended up with Kim Kardashian. And then that bitch broke his heart.
Puts it over the top. KD's like our regular burger, got bacon on that. It's automatically better with bacon.
Well, the
That's KD.
Nets weren't
KD is
automatically better.
KD is bacon, bro. Yeah, you can eat bacon in its own meal, yeah, but it's great on top of burgers and things like that too.
All I'm saying, right? If you're Boston Celtics, what are you
It's
waiting
probably
for? If
better
you want to
on a
win a
burger
chip,
than it is. It's
are you
bacon's
waiting for
probably
the
better
Bucks
as
to
a
get
burger than
old?
a main course.
Yeah, yeah, I think you're right, G.
Like, if you're Boston Celtics, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting the Bucks to get old? Are you waiting for Golden State to get old? But if you want to win now, you're
You
gonna
can't
have
wait
to.
for all that. You can't wait for that. Giannis is
Exactly.
that's why you got to go now. You got to go hire a paid assassin.
Because I personally think the Bucks are winning the East again. If Middleton never
Uh,
got hurt, that
I can see it
it's for the
happening.
Bucks.
I can see it happening, but they gotta have a healthy Middleton, bro.
Man, I think Bucks are about a year or two away from looking like Utah and blowing that shit up.
Nah, hell no.
All right.
Because as long as you got Greek the Freak, you could always build around
Yeah,
him.
right. There you go. Let's start with that. As long as you have Greek the Freak. So when you don't, you're fucked. There you go. So
But he's not going nowhere.
okay.
Clearly,
All right.
and clearly he's not leaving because he signed a contract. And the man will tell you, like, yo, I don't want none of that extra shit. I just want to play ball. And that's the only player right now in the league where I believe him. Like, yo, the man doesn't want to leave.
Yeah, for now.
It's not for now, bro, because he could have left. He could have clearly left.
Hey, until somebody, somebody mishandles an injury or something happens.
Bro, you're talking about a foreigner that does not care for that shit. And this is something that we tend to forget. He is a foreigner that doesn't like the glitz and glamour. He's a blue collar man.
Okay,
Literally,
so
a dying breed of players that you don't see no more.
Okay, so he's a foreigner. You can resting your laurels on the fact that he's a foreigner, so he's gonna enjoy him.
I'm resting my laurels that he's a blue collar player that doesn't want none of that shit.
Okay, so
he's not Americanized.
All right, so let's say the owner makes a scandalous comment about Greece or something.
But that's not happening. He's not playing for the Clippers. He's not playing for the Clippers.
Hey man, I'm just saying, shit happens, bro. There ain't nothing guaranteed, bro.
I mean, anything can happen. I mean, that's part of this equation, and that's another reason why you probably shouldn't trade for KD. Bryce mentioned it. Like, bro, the injury potential, you could really blow up your franchise and get a guy that played a third of like 34, man. I tell you, old age is an injury. I was on the court today taking some shots. You know what I'm saying? And young kids looking at me like, get your old ass off the court, man.
Non-contact injury.
I was old man out there. I had to bring my son up here for y'all. Like, what you mean? But that old age is injury, man. And KD is. I was just watching KD hoop, and he still doesn't look as explosive to me. Luckily, his game isn't predicated on athleticism. He's a shooter. At the end of the day, he can get if he can create space, if you can run off a screen, he can cause some damage. But I don't know if you give up on Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, like that combination. That they seem to have figured it out.
Hey man, I say that'd be the best thing that ever happened to Jaylen Brown, and he get traded from the Celtics.
Well,
know your history, young brother. The Celtics been doing shit like this for years.
Bro,
don't think they ever been bringing in hired guns for years, bro. Look at the old Celtics teams. That's what they're built off of. That's how they got banners. 90% of their banners were built exactly like that, bringing in guys like KD.
I'm gonna give you some history, bro. T-Mac did not want to play. He did not want to play second fiddle defense, and that's kind of what you're saying with Jaylen Brown.
And them boys was cousins.
Then them boys was cousins, right? So both of their careers, I think, were not better off without each other. I think if those two would have stuck together, they could have created something super powerful. But that ego, what they say, pride come before the fall, right? They both had some great seasons, but they both are going to be mentioned with like those second tier greats.
Yeah, but now T-Mac's mentioned as one of the best scorers of all time. Vince Carter is also a Hall of Famer. And respectfully, Jaylen Brown has been talked about like he's a sidekick, but he's not a sidekick.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're talking about individual accolades that some people won't care about. You know what I'm saying? One of the greatest scorers, There were a lot of great scores, right? Vince is one.
I mean, he obviously cares. He was tweeting. He's shaking his head, ain't he? So obviously he cares about something. He doesn't. He cares about the way he's being treated. He cares about the fact that he's being shocked after he had the greatest season of his career. He just brought them to the championship. He's paying attention to the fact that Jason Tatum's on the banners when he walks in the stadium.
That is an emotional response.
He's noticing all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think they both dating R&B divas. You know, I'm sure they're both winning in life, but you know, I think he might feel some way about that.
I'm not saying he don't feel a way. What I'm saying is he's young enough to not have the wisdom to know, bro, you can go off on your own and try to win on your own. We saw what happened when the Thunder split up. Like, you can go off on your own and be the guy. You end up like Harden, still chasing the ring,
Jaylen Brown takes me as a man of principle. He takes me as a guy that he doesn't necessarily doesn't. Yes, he takes me as a man of principle, and he takes me as somebody that does what he feels like he needs.
Yo, man of principle, how you get that from though? I haven't got.
Hey, I know. I do like
him. I do like Jaylen Brown.
Know his character.
I think Nick is just mad that this is not
business. A man of emotion tweets shaking my head.
No, a man of emotion tweets how he's feeling. Shaking my head is very much neutral and actually exercise of his leverage.
Nick is just mad that this is not turning out like the Ben Simmons and Embiid conversation. How we all told him about Embiid and Ben Simmons.
No, I don't care about that. I don't care about that.
I don't think Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum need to separate, but I do say they need another scorer. A better score than what they have in Marcus
They need another score? What are you talking about?
I don't think Marcus Smart is that guy for them. I think they need a better third option.
They brought in Brogdon, though.
You're bugging, bro. Yeah,
the point guard they just got, I think he's going to be the best option they have.
Bring in Brogdon,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Great addition.
That's what I'm saying. Let's see how this works out now, and hopefully the starting five is.
I'm telling you,
to beat the Bucks, I'm telling you.
If this Celtics team goes, let's say they don't get KD. This Celtics team goes this season and they don't win the championship this year and they're looking to shake up. The first thing they're going to be looking when they do to shake up is trade Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's always going to be the first one to go. It's just is what it is. And it's like you said about Joel Embiid. You brought up Joel Embiid, Benson. I wasn't even thinking about that. But if you got to pick one, you know who they're picking. You already know. Jaylen Brown's. They didn't say Jaylen Brown wasn't untouchable. You know what I'm saying? Well, Phoenix clearly did that. They said, nah, we not trading Devin Booker or Chris Paul, obviously, so you can get our third best guy. Boston didn't do that. They said Jaylen Brown's untouchable. They said Jason Tatum is untouchable. They didn't say that about Jaylen Brown.
I mean, Jason Tatum probably sell more tickets, man. Like, his stats wasn't.
I'm telling you, bro, there's so much colonialism within the choice of Jaylen Brown. I mean, Jason Tatum being the primary poster boy for the Boston sports media. Because that's probably something that the fans could embrace a little bit more for the demographic.
You're a light-skinned boy.
Thank you.
Hey, man. Well, on that note, I think that's a good point right there for us to wrap it up tonight, fellas. Good work on that conversation. I think however it ends up, man, if Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum don't end up staying together, we'll look back at it like, how did Boston ruin that? Because I think both those two players got a chance to be something special. But hey, good stuff tonight, fellas, man. As always, we're here each and every Tuesday. Follow the gang at Good Ass Sports. Follow all of us individually. You see the taglines in the bottom left corner. Hey, man, like T said earlier, Gas Elite going crazy. Keep up with them boys. Class of 2031, right, T?
Class of 2031.
Class of 2031 coming strong. It's crazy how the classes get they're probably talking about somebody in the class of 2040 right now. Some little baby out there doing push-ups or something crazy.
See,
but
put that back up. Put the comment back up. That's how I know. That's how I know he's a man of principle. Thank you, B.
Word. Hey, but you guys know how we end each and every show, fellas. Sports for the culture.
Deportes para la cultura.